Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Doğaç from Turkish Polar Program, and today I will explain you the example of Turkish program on the safety in the ship-based expeditions actually. And first of all, I will talk about the selection process of the researchers, then our field operations and the importance of the communication, like Emi mentioned in the first presentation today, and training, then the documentation. We have selection process for the researchers with the open call, and we announce each year to the public via our websites and all the social media channels, and all the researchers send their projects to this part, and they first got their peer-reviewed projects. After the results, they have to give the principal and the reserve nominates for the expedition. And after that, they are examined for the logistics evaluation by us. But during all these process, they all are coming from the different experiences and the different fields. That's why the training is one of the important thing for the Antarctic, also the Arctic expeditions for us. To widening and the broadcasting our trainings, we also use our social media and the YouTube channels to explain our modules and the application processes of the researchers. We explain our situations through the website and the step-by-step from our YouTube channel. Also, we explain all the logistics forms we have to the expeditioners. That means we are not just giving information to the the selected ones. Also, we want to have this information for all the researchers who wants to apply for the next years. Then we can have the sustainability of the application. After that, we have a field operations. Most of you know that we are ship-based, operated in both polar regions, Arctic and the Antarctic, and we use vessels to our operating systems. So this is basically ship-based, but however, we also do our land operations on the land side too with our scientific projects. Moreover, while we are getting on the land, we also carry out our scientific projects at sea. Like we are doing our bathymetric scientific projects, and at the end of the bathymetric projects, we managed to finish up the Horseshoe Islands map of the sea. So this gives us at least 3 different areas of the scientific projects. Moreover, we also do our logistics operations through the vessel, the loading, cargo operations, but also, as you can see, but also the air operations as well. Well, of course, we are following all the COMDEP guidelines, and we inform all the near stations when we are heading up to our air operations, but this also gives us a 4th department, 4th area of the logistics and the scientific working area. So these all are carrying out by the scientists. Of course, we are managing and heading the logistics operations. However, the scientists are in it when they are doing their scientific projects. So this leads us the communication. Because based on the rules of the safety, meaning is also the communication before the training. We really pay huge importance on it. But the communication cannot be taken in one hand, just between the researchers. The communication should be before the operation when we are heading with. Also, it should be between the researchers on the field. Also, it should be covered all the working areas. This photo is the system that we built up 2 years ago on the Horseshoe Island to cover up all the island to have our communication with the walkie-talkies. But also the other importance is that to have information flows by the mainland about the forecasts, about the ice conditions or etc. So that takes us to 3 steps of the communication. First, between the researchers, like examination of the intervals of the communication. For example, in the half hour, everybody says their locations to each other and they will decide what they are going to do. Second, planning area before having the operation. And third, communication between the mainland to have forecasting about what they are doing. And after that, between all these steps, we planned our training methods, and I would like to explain you this. We do our training processes based on these 5 main steps. First, general information, maritime, then survival in cold, health, and the fire. In general information, we give the rules about the polar regions, information about the environment, and also relative legislations about the Arctic and the Antarctic. Then, as a matter of fact, that we are heading the ship-based operations. That's why the maritime is one of the important keywords for our expeditions. So safety systems in vessel, best practices on board, the expedition hierarchy and communication. On the survival in cold, the working and living in cold, but also emergency situations, what to do, what not to do. And health, the first aid, CPR, psychology, and survival. Also in the fire types, extinguishers, and the firefighting equipments. Basically, actually, we try to provide the maritime safety trainings like STCW, standardization of the maritime training system. But for do all these kind of trainings, we cannot do it by ourselves. That's why we have collaborations from the Turkish government bodies and the universities. This is the Coast Guard of the Turkey, and this is the Montation Federation of the Turkey. So survival in cold trainings, we take our backups and the support from the Federation. And for the maritime training, we have our support from the Coast Guard of the Turkish. So these photos are from the general information and explanation of the legislation and the environment rules, of course. After that, we have a ship-based education, and we collect all the researchers on the vessel, and we gave the training of them from how to climb to ladders, and how they can join to the rescue boats, or what they do or what they shouldn't do on the board. And after that, this is the health training part, about the CPR and the first aid, but also we take our researchers to the cold areas before going to and join the expedition to give them the survival in cold training and basically living in the Antarctica or the Arctic situation, they have the chance to live in it. And after that, these are the photos from our firefighting. And each researcher can have the chance to use the equipment before they are really joined to expedition. Also, we have cooperation between the universities. The Ege University is responsible for the psychological evaluations before joining the expeditions. And Istanbul University is responsible for the medical checkups, health checkups. And Marmara University is responsible for the physical observation of the researchers. So the training is one of the important keyword for joining the expedition, right? But however, before their selections, even they have the really good scientific background or the really nice project, but also we need to evaluate them about their training situations and also their health situations. So these 3 universities helps us to evaluate the candidates, let's say, and the researchers. So this is the Istanbul University, responsible for the medical checkups of the researchers. And if somebody has a problem with their health, then we can go for the reserve one. As I mentioned in the first slide, we have a principal and the reserve candidates for the projects. So that's why we can provide the projects keep going, even though somebody have any problem with the health. And this is for the psychological evaluation and the taking of samples, of course. And this is the sports academy of the third university, responsible for the physical monitoring. So this brings us, as you can see from the pictures, we have many different ages and we have many different fields for the projects. And I would like to talk about these three young high school students, actually. This is out of the topic of this presentation, but just summarizing it. So we have education and outreach program in Turkish Polar Program. We have open call for the high school students to join our expeditions, actually. Each year, around 700 projects sent to the TÜBİTAK, the main council of the researching in Turkey, and the winners are going to Arctic and the Antarctica with us. And also we have another education outreach system for the universities. We opened a master degree, master's class in the Istanbul Technical University. So that means we are not just focusing on the current researchers and the current scientists of the Turkey, but also we would like to raise up the new generation of the scientists of the polar business. And from the ages, the old and the young, so that's why we are really combined researching team. So that's why the training is really important and the should be widening to all coverage with the all ages. The last mention will be the documentation. And normally I had a picture of here, but I don't know what I can see. I will explain to you this white blank to you. We have a book. We prepared a book about our trainings, like a curriculum, and with the Department of the Maritime, the survival in cold, fire, and the other psychological evaluations, and the general rules, of course. And we are following this book chapters while making our education and the trainings to the researchers. And also we are just started the preparation, our paperwork in here to checklist before application of their projects, but also before they are heading to the field. Before they are conducting their project, we also want to measure their safety measurements, actually. And these shows also the interval communications informations as well. I talked about what we are doing right now, but how about the future? What we are aimed to have in the future? So we have to, you didn't see the white page, you just saw the white page, we didn't see our book, but we would like to prepare our handbook for the training for the scientists to carry on their pockets in the field. If something happened in emergency, then they can check the small handbook, then we can have much more smooth communication with them. And also we like to use the technology in our training system while using the VR and AR technologies. Before they're heading to the field, maybe we can have opportunity to work with them, with the technology. Also, we would like to have our documentary library like the ISM system in the maritime business, Internet Safety Maritime Business. And we would like to have this ISM coding number on our polar business. And also, we would like to have our training modules for the online, for all the people who wants to apply their programs. Thank you very much. And also, this is the phrase I always use after my safety presentations. The communication is the important step and the first step, but I think the main step is watch your step before something happens. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Doğaç.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Yes, please, Sonia.
Hi, good morning, and thank you very much for your presentation. I have a question, a very simple question. Do you take an exam or something like this after all those training or not?
Actually, yes, but the exam is like we have little like a quiz system, not harsh questions, and we are giving these papers to all the researchers without reading down their names. Then we can measure how much they have the information about the safety, maritime or the polar expeditioners. Then after finishing our training, then we are giving the same questions to the people again, and then we can have the balance, how they grow up their information and what is their information at the first place. Thank you very much for the question.
Any further question?
I'm sorry to ask you. I'm curious about of your operation. How do you engage the crew of the ship in the training? Or because usually you are not using your own ship.
Mm-hmm. So we first give the training to our researchers in Turkey and all the mountains, all the cold areas. I showed the pictures. But also we have another training. I probably forgot to mention in the presentation. Thank you for asking, by the way. When we heading on board, when we stepped on board, we have another training given by the crew of the vessel. For the paperwork, of course, this is the rules of the maritime. And then we can measure the knowledge of our researchers, and then they have the familiarization to the board while having this training by the crew of the vessel. Thank you.